Hi guys, Miss Layton here. Nice to see you. Hope you are well. Hope you are getting on with your home learning today. Hope you've been doing your jobs. Hope you've been kind and helpful at home, as always. I'm going to read some more Fantastic Mr. Fox today. I think some of you quite liked it when I shared my screen last time so you could see the text. So I'm going to do that again today. So just bear with me one moment. Here we are. We're up to chapter 6, which is called The Race. Now there began a desperate race, the machines against the foxes. In the beginning, the hill looked like this. Pretty big. After about an hour, the machines bit away more and more soil from the hilltop, and it looked like this. Sometimes the foxes would gain a little ground and the clanking noises would grow fainter, and Mr. Fox would say, "We're going to make it, I'm sure we are." But then a few moments later, the machines would come right back at them, and the crunch of the mighty shovels would get louder and louder. Once the foxes actually saw the sharp metal edge of one of the shovels as it scraped up the earth just behind them. "Keep going, my darlings," panted Mr. Fox. "Don't give up." "Keep going," the fat boggis shouted to Bunsen Bean. "We'll get him any moment now." "Have you caught sight of him yet?" Bean called back. "No, not yet," shouted Boggis, "but I think we're close." "I'll pick him up with my bucket," shouted Bunce. "I'll chop him to pieces." But by lunchtime, the machines were still at it, and so were the poor foxes. And the hill now looked like this. It doesn't really look like a hill anymore, does it? "Hey there, Mr. Fox," yelled Bunce, leaning out of his tractor. "We're coming to get you now." "You've had your last chicken," yelled Boggis. "You'll never come prowling around my farm again." A sort of madness had taken hold of all three men. The tall, skinny Bean, the dwarfish, pot-bellied Bunce were driving their machines like maniacs, racing the motors and shaking the shovels, making the shovels dig at a terrific speed. The fat Boggis was hopping about like a dervish and shouting, "Faster, faster!" By 5 o'clock in the afternoon, this is what had happened to the hill. Oh my, it's not a hill anymore, is it? It's like a big ditch. It's the opposite of a hill. The hole the machines had dug was like the crater of a volcano. It was such an extraordinary sight that crowds of people came rushing around from the surrounding villages to have a look. They stood on the edge of the crater and stared down at Boggis and Bunsen Bean. "Hey there, Boggis, what's going on?" "We're after a fox." "You must be mad." The people jeered and laughed. But this only made the three farmers more furious and more obstinate and more determined than ever not to give up until they caught the fox. Chapter 7. We'll never let him go. At 6 o'clock in the evening, Bean switched off the motor of his tractor and climbed down from the driver's seat. Bunce did the same. Both men had had enough. They were tired and stiff from driving the tractors all day. They were also hungry. Slowly they walked over to the small fox's hole in the bottom of the huge crater. Bean's face was purple with rage. Bunce was cursing the fox with dirty words that cannot be printed. Boggis came waddling up. "Dang and blast that stinking fox," he said. "What the heck do we do now?" "I'll tell you what we don't do," Bean said. "We don't let him go." "We'll never let him go," Bunce declared. "Never, never, never," cried Boggis. "Do you hear that, Mr. Fox?" yelled Bean, bending low and shouting down the hole. "It's not over yet, Mr. Fox. We're not going home until we've strung you up dead as a dingbat." Whereupon the three men all shook hands with one another and swore a solemn oath that they would not go back to their farms until the fox was caught. "What's the next move?" asked Bunce, the pot-bellied dwarf. "We're sending you down the hole to fetch him up," said Bean. "Down you go, you miserable little midget." "Not me!" screamed Bunce, running away. Bean made a sickly smile. When he smiled, you saw his scarlet gums. You saw more gums than teeth. "Then there's only one thing to do," he said. "We starve him out. We camp here day and night watching the hole. He'll come out in the end. He'll have to." So Boggis and Bunsen Bean sent messages down to their farms asking for tents, sleeping bags, and supper. Oh, I'm going to pause there. Oh, those farmers are so mean and nasty. I hope Mr. Fox gets away. What do you think is going to happen? I know you all know what's going to happen because it's such a good story. We've all read it before, but Hope you're enjoying. See you again soon. Bye.